I'm Annika Cheekin, and this is the Anna Report, where every Wednesday I sit with you guys and we discuss dating and relationships. And I'm yelling because there's sirens going off outside, and I gotta beat them to it with my voice. All right, you guys, I'm so pumped about this week's show because, oh, it's so good. The topic is, well, it's a question. It's, do women need men? And my friend and relationship expert, Michael James Sama, posted something about this, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then I read the comments, and I was blown away by some of the comments. I was agreeing with some of the comments. I learned from a lot of the comments, and I thought there's no better time than to have James come on. James has come on before during the live show, so this, you know, he's not new to the Anna Report, but he's gonna come back on and we're gonna like hash this out together. And I intentionally have not spoken to him because I want this to be as real and raw and live. So yeah, let's push the boundaries together tonight. And I really want to hear from everyone because I'm really curious to hear what everyone has to say on the topic of, do women need men? And how do men respond to this sort of change that's happening so in your face? Of course, I got to talk about what I'm drinking. I just love I love my wine, I love my whiskey, and I love my beer. And tequila sometimes, right? Hi, Fonzo. Hi, Monster. Hi, Hector. All right, you guys, so I'm back with the Malbec today because it's pouring rain in LA. There's a blizzard in the East Coast, so I thought there's no better perfect time than to go back to the Malbec that I had from One Hope. And you know why I love One Hope, right? They give back. Each bottle gives back to charity. And this one, of course, gives back to Alzheimer's. And it's from Uco Valley, it's from Argentina, and I just absolutely love this wine. So that's what I'm having here. I've had it before. Oh, you again? Yeah. You again? Come, you gotta get close, lady.
This is my favorite wine.
Oh, can you put it down a little bit? You're covering my face. Oh, this is your favorite. I forgot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, don't drink too much because you don't know where we're gonna. That was the lamest salud ever.
Cheers.
Thank you. Wow. All right. We can start the conversation about, do women need men? And I'm gonna just go out there and put it out there, and I'm gonna say it. Abso-fucking-lutely.
What's up, everybody?
James. Good to see you. Are you back in Boston in the blizzard or what?
Right now I am, yeah, and then on Sunday I'm going to New York for a month, so that's gonna be fun.
Nice.
So yeah.
Okay. So you wrote in your post, you said what men used to bring to relationships were money, housing, security, physical protection, stability, and strength. What men need to bring now is partnership, support, encouragement, honesty, romance, compassion, communication, listening skills, willingness to be an equal teammate. And then you said, women don't need men anymore, which I was like, no! And then also, I think that when you say used to bring to relationships, now they need to bring, I think they always should have brought encouragement, support, honesty. And they didn't before because they felt like they didn't need to support a woman because why would a woman need support? She's just a housewife. You know, what is she need encouragement for? She's a mom. There should be a natural thing for her. Why honesty? I'm the man. I can fuck anybody I want, right? Romance after we're married. Fuck that. Compassion. I'm a man. I don't need to be compassionate. Communication. I don't want to talk after a long fucking day. Listening skills. Shut the hell up. I want to watch TV. Willingness to be an equal teammate. I pay for everything. There's no such thing as an equal teammate because I'm the man. All yours.
I mean, this happens every time. We always end up on kind of the same page, but I know we want a little bit of like conflict. But that's exactly what I'm trying to say, is that then it was, a lot of marriages were out of necessity, you know, and I don't want to like de-romanticize marriage, right? Because I'm the guy who wants to bring all of that monogamy back, right? So I'm not trying to take away the credibility. But the fact of the matter is, like, there were probably a lot of people in unhappy marriages. There were a lot of women who got married because they had no other choice. It's like that's what you did. You grew up, you got married, you raised kids, and like that was your life.
Yeah.
So like women literally needed men. So, and I think men probably get a little bit spoiled with like that's how they were gonna live their life. It was like Mad Men, like the Mad Men era, right? It's like you do whatever the hell you want. You're drinking your whiskey in your office.
But the men needed the women too. Otherwise, you're gay, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh my God.
You're right. I mean, there was a stigma. Yeah, there was a stigma around men who were married
not
too.
married, and he's 35. Oh man, right? Like.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
No, that's a good point for sure. I mean, but I think, but the expectations were different though. Like it was needed in it for different ways. You know what I mean? Like men could still, yeah, there would be a stigma around being a single guy, but you could make a living, you could have a job, you could have a career, a house, things like that. Like maybe you didn't have a wife, but like a woman wouldn't even be able to leave her parents' house because she couldn't get a decent paying job. She couldn't vote. She couldn't, obviously I'm talking in extremes, but these are our grandparents' generations.
Yep. So how can, also, when you say this is our grandparents' generation, it's weird to me because my grandma worked. My grandma went, she literally left her hometown, went to the city, got an education by herself, lived in the dorms by herself, met her husband, got married, so had a career, so they both had a career. That maybe is the reason why I always thought like, of course, no, you gotta like work and this is it. Like,
so maybe I should be going further back then than just our grandparents.
You're right. I mean, of course. Are you kidding me? Go to Glendale. You're gonna find married couples now in their 20s living grandparents. That whole thing. I'll go to Middle America.
For sure. I mean,
I'm sure that's happening right now.
Oh, Middle America, it's still the parents doing it. I mean, it's like, it doesn't even go back that far. Some people just have to go home for Christmas to find this stuff. They don't have to go back generations and generations. You know what I mean? But like, and that's the unfortunate part about that stigma. It's still out there in some ways.
Okay, but I honestly, I don't even want to talk about those people because they bother me. Let's talk about, let's talk about how it should be and how it is and how we're progressing as humans, right? And the concept that are the men feeling threatened, and what can the woman do?
So here's the and this is okay, and I know we're being uncensored here, right? So I might as well just say
yes,
it. Like
the Anna Report is uncensored dating advice.
Yeah, and I think hopefully the guys will agree with me. And if the guys agree with me, and I know I have some people from my pages watching, and they're women, so like I might get myself in some hot water. But here's my like real view on this, right? Is like I can't stand when a woman is like, guys can't handle me, guys can't handle my attitude, guys are threatened. Like fuck that. They're not threatened. It's not that they can't handle you, it's they don't want to put up with it. They don't want to be in a fight every day when they come home. They don't want to have conflict with the person they're dating. It's supposed to be fun and romantic and nice. If you have an attitude, a shitty like I can do it myself, leave me alone attitude, it's not the guys that can't handle it. They don't want to deal with it. Like, who wants to be in a relationship with somebody like that? It should be affectionate and loving and caring, you know what I mean? But like now we just have this like, no, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. So guys, less so than feeling threatened, they're feeling unwanted. They're feeling cast aside and being like, what do we even do? How do we contribute, right? Like, what is our purpose? What is our role? Now, I understand the male kind of like dominance in the society. So believe me, I'm not giving like a sob story for guys here. Because there's obviously many things we could say that guys are at fault for, but like this is the issue that comes down to this whole thing is like, what do we do, right? It's like whether it's doing something that's supposed to be chivalrous that comes across as disrespectful or saying the wrong thing or whatever, and women get bent out of shape. Like guys don't know what to do, so they just don't do anything.
Okay, so I have a story for you. So I realized that in my like late 20s, and I decided that I'm just gonna let the guy kind of lead the way, right? Just be the man, right? And I've kind of just naturally have adapted this personality, this way of thinking, this way of living. And so I was on a date and it was late at night and I parked in a unsafe parking lot because I thought it was better to park in an illegal parking spot than to park far away. And I was like, I might as well just get a ticket and park at an unsafe spot. So at the end of the night, we were with a group. At the end of the night, he didn't walk me to my car. And I was like, you fucking idiot, right? I called him out straight up. I was like, you're a fucking idiot. And his response was, I'm just so used to women shutting me out, saying, I don't need you to walk me to my car. And he's like, and here you are, like basically calling me a fucking idiot. So I expected him to be able to take my fucking idiot. So you should be able to take that. If you're a fucking idiot, be a fucking idiot. Okay. If I'm being a bitch, I'm being a bitch. I'll say it. I'm being a bitch because you're a fucking idiot. Right? So the thumb. So with that said though, I was very patient, and I think that maybe that's what we're lacking here. We're not patient with each other because we're not communicating. Like if I didn't communicate to him and said, why didn't you walk me to my car, you fucking idiot, and just stopped answering his calls, right? He would have never known, and I would have never had this story to tell. But so maybe that's what needs to happen is like what you said, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to, but maybe we should be okay with having uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, we need to, because otherwise, like you said, I mean, how are we going to know what's wrong, what's not wrong, like what's turning somebody off, like somebody might do something completely like unwittingly, right? Like just a complete fluke and make a bad call and not on purpose. And if somebody shuts them out or somebody calls them a fucking idiot and they're like, why? What'd I do? What'd I do?
Men
and then, if you have enough of those.
Literally, men go into the shell when a woman says, you're a fucking idiot. But I think it's I'm sorry. If I mess up in work, in personal, in any situation, somebody calls me out, I see it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to change. I'm here to change every day. When I don't change every day, I'm like, you fucking idiot, right? Like, what did you learn today? How did you change today? How did you grow today? So why do we look at it as a bad thing, right? Like, she's being honest. Take it.
Yeah. Well, because honestly, men are a little bit egocentric, right? Obviously, like we can be kind of turn in ourselves if our confidence or our like self-worth or our acceptance is hurt. And one of the biggest things that causes that is how we are with women, or how well received we are with women, right? So it's like a matter of, if we're not good with women, or women reject us consistently, that makes us question who we are as a man, as a person.
Yeah. It's how it's communicated, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of women don't, and and this is where it's sticky, right? Because it's like nobody likes to be told what to do. So if I, and especially me as a guy, if I start saying, hey, ladies, like soften up your approach a little bit, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you telling me what to say? Yeah. Right? So it's like I can only say so much. And so I'm stuck with what I can say too. But like, yeah, if and I always tell this to, even with clients, people I coach and stuff, I'm like, if you're gonna tell a guy something that's bothering you, don't be like, when you do this, I hate it, or when you do this, blah, blah, blah. Don't like blame his actions. Be like, I feel betrayed. I feel uncomfortable. I feel this when you act in this way, right? Like talk about how it makes you feel, because that's going to give him the opportunity to be like, oh shit, I need to change.
So you know how I communicated to the fucking idiot who didn't walk me to my car? This is how, and I think it worked because he agreed. I said, I know you're not a bad person and you didn't mean to not walk me to my car, but I really want you to do the right things because I want I don't want to not talk to you. I don't want to shut you off. But when you don't do these basic things, then it's like, oh my God. So I think that when women can communicate in that way, is like, I like you. I want this to work. This is why I'm telling you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just telling you. Well, I might have gone, to heaven if I got raped and killed that night. But, I mean.
Because he didn't walk you to the car. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
But,
James, Hector has a question for you. He says, James,
Uh-oh.
what would you define needs? Of course, needs are different from one person to another, but eventually we all need each other. The word need, in my opinion, is thrown too loosely nowadays. So let's define the word need. Well, what would you define as needs? Because I go to the extreme. I'm like, we need to procreate. What is it?
Procreate.
Yeah. I was like, procrastinate, because that's what I do.
So I mean, when I wrote that post, what I was referring to needs, like as in literally needing somebody, like I was talking about earlier, like for marriage, for kids, for like family pressures, shit like that. Like that's when I say needs, it's like you literally can't function in your life without it, right? So like at the very basic core of needs. Now, as we get more into this conversation, like what are needs, I think there's needs for sex, there's needs for companionship, there's needs for acceptance, right? In other ways. So like in those ways, I think we do need each other.
Well, studies
you know what I mean? Like
married people actually live longer.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I believe that. Plus, probably single people are out just sex, drugs, and rock and roll until they're 60 and drop dead if they're still doing that stuff, you know? But it's like, there is this more settled companionship and this fulfillment and satisfaction that comes along with being in a relationship like that. And that's why when I was like a whole different person, like a player in my early 20s, it was like it got old after a while, you know? Because we don't want to deal with that shit anymore. So like needs in the more conceptual sense of the term for Hector is like, I think it's that companionship, it's that love, it's that bond, you know what I mean? But like the foundation of this quote was really about like, I can't work, I can't vote, I can't do shit without a man in my life, you know? Okay. But obviously what needs have now evolved into like, what do I need as a human being? More so than what do I need out of the business transaction that is a marriage.
Exactly. Are men confused about their role in relationships?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because you know, Anna, I don't, and guys can chime in on this if they. I'm curious.
So like, sad.
How do you think the guys feel? Because it's like they're confused because they don't necessarily have a role anymore. It's like what is it now, right? This is the first time in history that we're in a generation that women don't need men, right? We all know what we're talking about now in this concept. This is the first time this has ever happened. So it's the first time so we have our male biology and our female biology, like shit that's not going to change, right? Like we can't control who we are as males and females. This is just reality. But when it comes down to like so that means the roles that are shifting around it, the society shifting around it, doesn't any longer line up with our male and female like natural tendencies, right? Like if you want,
I do.
Oh, well, go ahead.
I still needed him to walk me to my car because till this day, women don't feel safe when they walk outside and walk down the street. So that we still need men because other men think that women aren't as strong to defend themselves. Majority of people still think that way.
But here's the thing: why do you need the man? Why do you not feel safe? Because of other women?
No, because of other men in a dark parking lot. Yeah. Because he's horny.
But it's a guy. But it's a guy. This is the thing. It's a guy. So like guys are on both sides of the fence. Like we have to prove that we are not like the guy on the other side of the parking lot. And it's like there's all this confusion, and women don't know who's who. And women have been burned and jaded so many times, and they're like, how do I know the guy walking to my car after a date isn't a psychopath? So if that guy, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I would think that you've done a little bit of your research before going on a blind date with this person. Because I've been on a date where I didn't do my research, and the entire time the guy talked about his addiction to this one drug that I had no clue about. And then I got home and I Googled what drug it was, and it was a date rape drug.
Oh, Jesus.
So you better fucking do your research before you go on a date. And this is from a very experienced person. So
well, you would think.
You would think. But people are young and they don't know. And this is why like there's just so much conversation and advice that I want to impose on everybody is that do your research. Don't just go out with anyone. But ultimately it's like if you're on a date with someone that's the person you're out with. So that's how a man gets in.
Yeah. Yes.
All pun
Yes.
intended.
You're right. But do you want me to? Okay. But do you want me to take this to like a different level here too? Like,
Yes.
we're also living like I mean, I'm more familiar than you probably think with the Armenian culture.
Okay.
And it's very similar to a lot of, right? So, I mean, in fact, somebody told me to say hello to you. He's like, you can't get away from Armenians wherever you go. And there's a lot of similarities.
He's what?
Yeah. And a lot of similarities with the Italian cultures.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so you and I grew up in, I don't want to use the word traditional, but like our families are what we're talking about here.
Correct.
Right? So many people aren't growing up in that environment. And I'm not saying one's right and wrong. I'm just saying they're not having those role models. They don't have experience in relationships like this. They haven't witnessed them. They haven't seen them. So they haven't learned what it even means. They haven't learned the benefits. They haven't learned the challenges. So they have nothing to go off of. So it's like if most people are growing up in these families that aren't really families, that's what they gravitate towards later in their life. You know, I mean, it's like why do people always turn to their freaking parents?
I disagree.
You know?
I disagree. Let me tell you why I disagree. Because I'm living proof of that. My mother is a single mom. I didn't grow up with a traditional, the household, and I wholeheartedly, even though I've never met my dad, even though I'm saying this, women desperately do need men, and vice versa. Men need women, and women need men. And I hate the exclusion is what I'm trying to say. I think we should stop excluding men or women out of our lives. Like, why can't we just accept the fact that we need each other? Why can't we just accept the fact we need each other? That's it. We need if you are straight, you need each other for more reasons than the rest. Okay? Ultimately,
yes,
that's
I'm
when
with
it
you.
comes down. I know, but I know when it comes to studies do prove that the more broken homes children are growing up in, they think this is the norm. I 100% agree with you, and I think that being Armenian and being surrounded by the culture and the values, the norms, all of that, 100% agree with you on that. I'm also an outcast, a black sheep, and everywhere and everything I do, but it's
I don't want to cut you off, but
it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it is.
We are building this culture. We're building this culture, and not to go back to the fucking idiot again, but it made me really sad when he felt like all the women he had gone out with never really shut him off. It was like, oh, I didn't think I needed to do that for you.
Well, and that's the thing. If he had that experience so many times, if you have one experience 9 times, on the 10th time you're going to be like, well, that's what's going to happen with Anna too. So, and this comes to, and I want to address Lynn Glover said straight and don't need a man ever. I'd like you to respond to that in a second. I'm curious.
What did she say?
She said she's straight and she doesn't need a man ever.
Huh.
So I'm curious, like how you would, and I almost forget where I was going. Oh, and so there's an accountability to the guys here in the sense that like, and I say this all the time too, like if that guy had said, I walk women to their car because that's who I am, not because of who they are, not because of whatever, like I believe in that, I'm going to be romantic, I'm going to be chivalrous or whatever, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Guys have a responsibility and an obligation to be who they are no matter the circumstances. So it's like in the hopes and in the reality that when you do find that right woman, whether it's number 10 or whether it's number 1,000, she's going to appreciate you for who you are, right? That may have made a huge difference for you if he had just stepped up and did exactly what he normally would have done anyway. So it's up to guys to not let this change us, as difficult as it is,
And also,
so that's,
what I think it is too is if a man wants to be that kind of man and a woman shuts him off, you have 2 options. Well, one option, get the fuck out. Right? Like if that's, if it makes you feel good to protect and be there for your woman, be with a woman who appreciates and accepts that. And part of the reason I think why she's not accepting it and doesn't want it is because I think of maturity, or even some, family issues, like deep-rooted rebellion, that needs to be addressed. That's way above your title. to step in and say.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, and see this, the comments coming through from Lynn about like really emphasizing not needing a man, right? Like these are the things that men read, and this is the reason why guys feel unwanted, because it's like because if
it's one person.
but it's not. It's one person in this conversation. Look around, like scroll through Facebook, look at what people are saying. Like, it's ridiculous how many times comments like this are brought up. And it's like, and guys are just going to be like, well, what's the point? What's the purpose? And you feel replaceable. You feel the problem is feeling replaceable.
You know how I would almost address these women? I would almost address them with a question of, tell me what happened. Which asshole broke your heart? It's true.
Yeah.
Which asshole broke your heart? Because that's ultimately that's what it comes down to. Why would you, if you're a straight woman and you enjoy sex, why would you say that? Right?
Right.
It's weird.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So that's why it comes down to.
And this is the, like, see, and I don't want to dwell on one person leaving comments. I know we have a lot of people chiming in here, but it's like, if you aren't whole yourself, you have no business loving anybody else, is what you're saying. Like, is what she's saying. Like, you need to be like, we all know that. It's not about being whole in the sense of like, of looking for somebody to complete you, but like needing somebody is about, again, what they can bring to your life that you just wouldn't have it being single. Like, I'm sorry, like it's a different life.
So let's close on
like
that. Let's close on why having a companion, why finding that one person who complements you, and I don't even want to say completes you, because you should be complete before you go into a relationship. Someone who completes you.
Yeah.
Soarmate.
Yeah. Soarmate. I like that.
Why is having a soarmate so important for your life and for your growth and for your future? Like, explain that from like your perspective, and I'll give mine.
I mean, my personal opinion on it is that it enhances everything that you do. It enhances the accomplishments you have because you have someone to share it with. It enhances the trips you take because you have someone to share the experience with.
Doubles.
It doubles. It doubles.
It doubles.
And it's, that's really, I think that is really what it comes down to. And like, and I'm the type of person that if I wanted a family, I would want a family with somebody. I wouldn't go like, and everybody makes their own choice. That's just my personal opinion. But like, if I want to have a kid, I don't want to go out and adopt a kid and be single and have a kid. Like, I want to have a family around that, Yeah. So it's like the having somebody in your life brings this whole different dimension, new perspectives, new support, everything that you just can't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And I like being single. I'm not talking badly about being single, but it's a completely different type of life. Yeah. And if you want that companionship, that's the only way to have it. And you need another person for that.
And I agree with everything you're saying. And just to like add to it is same. I enjoy being single, but sometimes I think about how everything that I'm doing could be multiplied by 2 if there was the support, the encouragement, the financial, everything doubles. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, like, I mean, not even majority, like mainly most successful people have spouses. They do. They all have husbands or wives, because I don't care what you say. I don't need it. I don't need it. The truth is, you are moving faster. You are growing faster with a soarmate. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. And we can deny it all we want, but I don't think that we should exclude men. And I wish, and I can't say this to women, to each their own, but I wish that the women could just sort of give just a little damsel in distress. I'll never forget at TMZ, and this is work. I shouldn't have done this. And we had to like carry boxes, and we were doing it. The women were doing it, and I saw the guy standing there, and I was like, "Fuck this." And this is when I was practicing it. I told my coworker, I was like, "Watch me." I said, "Oh my God, can you guys help me?" And they loved it. They loved it. They loved coming and helping us. And the ones who didn't, who weren't excited about helping, I don't fucking care for them, So
yeah,
it works. It works. And I almost feel like the guy who felt like he helped, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, when I put my head on the pillow, I think about, you know, you're not on stage. Like right now we're on stage. Everyone's on stage. Everyone's writing. I'm on camera. You're on camera. We're on stage. The second you hit your head on that pillow, no one is watching anymore. So you think about everything that was said to you. You think about everything that was said to you and you said and everything. And ultimately we all want to feel needed and where we feel validated and how you've helped someone, acts of kindness. And so the fact that I gave these guys an opportunity to perform an act of kindness for the day, I know I made them feel good. The boxes weren't that heavy.
Right.
You know? It was just watching them feel so good about helping. And you're just like, thank you, you know?
And you know what, Anna, it's so important that you say that because like guys don't really, we really, really don't need that much. Right? Like that's that's it. Those guys were like ecstatic, right? That's it.
Yeah.
I have like day made, right? Day made. And it made your life easier too. So it's not like guys are asking for the world here, just a little something, you know?
Exactly.
And it's that willingness and the ability to protect and to lift heavy things, whatever, even if you don't need us to do it, to give us the opportunity to, makes all the difference in the world.
Right. But then there's the guy who I was like, I'm parked in a dark parking lot, and he was like, okay, have a good night.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Well, that was probably only one date,
no,
right? And then,
you fucking idiot. You have to.
we have a lot of faces coming through right now. I like that.
What's that?
We have a lot of reactions right now, the emojis and everything. That's good. Somebody said something good.
Oh, good. Okay. Holly says, we don't really need cars to survive. We don't need cell phones. We don't need dessert either. But I'll be damned if I'm going to forego any of them. Many of us need a partner of the opposite sex. Even if we could technically survive without one, it would be living a diminished life. Amen. Elizabeth says, it's about asking for help from a man that helps him to feel helpful and wanted. It's a nice feeling for a guy. 100% Elizabeth. I'm telling you, it's not that you can't do it, but just think of them as a fucking idiot and just ask for it. Just be like, oh, can you help me? And it makes you feel good because you're like, oh my God.
And especially now, guys aren't even willing to offer. Yeah,
like,
it's
these so happy, you know? And it's just something so stupid. Elizabeth said, yes, on the damsel in distress idea. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to get trashed for that. But yes, it's true. Sonia says, I'm not going to put on an act. He should love me for who I am.
Well, if he doesn't meet you and doesn't get to know you, how's he going to love you for who you are? You may have to make the first subtle move or open the door or let him know that you're open to being approached or said hello to or helped in some way or whatever, and then he'll take it from there. But how's he going to know who you are if he never meets you?
Yeah, you need to give a little bit of a nudge. Not like, walk me to my
guys
car.
do that, especially.
They need to push.
So be a phony. Nobody's saying be a phony. Jesus. See, this is what happens, Anna. This is the problem. Everybody goes to the opposite end of the spectrum, right? You say one little thing. I'm sorry. Am I getting worked out?
I love how the women pissed you off. My guys don't piss me off, except for when we talk about orgasms. They think they don't want to know about it. But they
because the second we suggest that a woman does something for a guy, all the other women jump on it and talk about, that's being fake. No way that's going to happen. Be a phony. Nobody's telling you to be fake. Nobody's telling you to be a phony. They're telling you to give a guy an opportunity to contribute to your life. There's nothing fake about that. Just open a door and let him do it and watch how many more guys step up that they're doing it now. So many women tell me all the time, like, I'm waiting for Prince Charming. I'm waiting. Really? What are you doing to be proactive in going out and finding them?
Yep.
It doesn't just work that way. You have to give guys a chance, especially these days where we're so like standoffish because we don't know if we're going to get accused of something just for saying hello.
I agree with you. Oh, not going to happen. Chantel says, so be phony. I don't think it's being phony.
It's not. It's not being phony. If anything, it's being authentic because you're willing to open up a little bit and show some vulnerability.
You know what else could be phony? Why is a guy opening the car door for me? I can do it myself. That's phony, right? That's phony as well.
We know you can do it yourself. No, I don't know any guys who open a door because it's like, because you don't think she can do it herself. she got two hands. She can open a door. You know what I mean? That's not why we do it. We do it to contribute.
So Mickey Savage says, I'm doing better than ever single. So it was my fault. So it was my fault at the man I had because they just wanted to bring me down. So I've chosen now to stay single as I'm doing better single. If I need someone to lift something for me, I'll call my son. Fair enough. If that works for her, that makes you happy, fair enough.
She's still asking a man for help. It's her son. But I know, I'm just sorry. That was
She doesn't want to lift it. Are you kidding me? When I don't want to lift something, I call my uncle because I'm like, I don't want to do this alone. You know, I want, like, I get to hang out with my uncle. I get to put this together. I get to not do it alone. It's fun. Lynn says, so be fake to someone to feel. So be fake to make someone feel better. Where's the authenticity? She makes a good question.
But that's only if we were talking about being fake. Neither you or I are talking about being fake.
No, but she's calling me out on when I said be a little bit of a damsel in distress. She's saying why? Why do I have to be fake? I guess.
Well, I'll let you in.
I guess it's not being fake when you are asking for help. I guess the answer is, I guess instead of saying be a damsel in distress, just be open to asking for help. Because men want to help. They feel good when they help. So maybe that's the right answer. It's not about being fake. Be open to asking men for help because it makes them feel better. I think that's maybe the best other way of putting it.
Yeah.
I gotta read this. I've only read the first two sentences, the first two words, and I already love it. Robo John says, my ex was a psycho before we started dating and blamed me for her turning into a psycho. What's up with that? Take it away, Jay.
First of all, why did you start dating her, Robo, if she was a psycho in the first place? And if she was a psycho, then that means that nothing she does is going to be rational, so you shouldn't really be surprised.
Okay.
So that, unfortunately, there's no surprise there.
Why do we think his ex was a psycho?
I think we need a little bit more info on that. A little more context. Okay, you go ahead then, and I guarantee you she was Armenian, by the way.
She's psycho because there's some asshole who like did something wrong. So it's like it's a defense mechanism, right? It's sort of
right. Well, good point, because then if she blamed him afterwards, she has a pattern of either being hurt by guys or blaming guys for certain things. So it's just probably something she's done in the past.
Correct. So as a man, when I mentioned patience, I think it's important to both men and women to be patient, because had I not been patient with that guy who didn't walk me to my car and just blew him off, I would have never known that he had dated so many women who didn't allow him to walk him. So he and I never had that conversation. So when he said it, I was like, oh my God, no, I need you to walk me to, I was like, I can walk. I was like, listen, I have my pepper spray. I'm good. Like, I've been out without you in my life. Like, I got this.
Yeah.
But when I'm with, you know what I said to him? This was actually a big aha moment. As I was just diary of the mouth, I had an aha moment. I wanted to save this for later, but this is good. Is what if a woman is on a date with you? What makes this date separate and special from all the other things I've done in my life? So we meet at a bar. Okay, women go to bars all the time. What makes this moment different and special? So a perfect example is, I go to bars all the time. Okay, I have to pay for my drink. I have to look out for my back. I have to get my own lift back, to worry about drinking or driving. I have to look around, right? Like, I'm in a different zone when I'm alone, when I'm with the girls. When I'm with you on a date, what makes this special? What makes this special? Tell me.
Are you asking me?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I paused because I wanted the guys to have a moment to like think about it. Like, what makes the date special? And I thought, okay, it makes it special on how you handle it, right? Walk her to her car, pay for it, make sure she gets home safe, text her, did you get home safe? all this stuff that the basic things that you do to make sure that there's some sense of, I'm out with a man. I'm out with a man.
Yes, romance.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, something.
Wow. It felt so good for once to stand there and have a man pay for me. It felt so good for once to get home and someone texts you and says, "Did you get home safe?" I mean, who wouldn't like that?
You know how much backlash I get for the paying on the date thing? Oh my God.
What do you mean?
Well, I have a lot of women tell me they refuse to let the guy pay on a date.
Oh.
They're like, I refuse, I split it, I have to pay. I'm like, because I'm very like, guy pays, 100%, guy pays. I mean, I did an interview in New York City with a woman once who like battled me for like an hour and a half. She's like, I will never let a guy pay for anything. I'm like, what? So, I mean, there's a lot of, what you're talking about is surrendering your independence to a man. Bad idea. What? Like, see, this is, I just don't know how, I mean, I do this for a living, and every once in a while I still get speechless. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand where that thought process can come from. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, fine.
Like,
let's bring it back. What do the women complain about and say that you're like, you know what? Women are right.
The lack of effort the guys put in.
The lack of effort. And you're saying
yeah.
The reason why the guys put in the lack of effort is because the women shut them out.
That's kind of like victim blamey. I don't necessarily want to say that, because then it turns on like women are like, oh, so it's our fault.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's a cycle. It's chicken or the egg. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like which one started first.
Exactly.
I don't know if I think that's a possibility, but it's also a possibility that guys got, heard about their friends getting screwed in marriages or paying thousands in alimony, and they're like, fuck that, I'm not going anywhere near a relationship. So then they just started backing off in the first place. So like, I don't know which one started first, but it's a cycle that's been spiraling out of control for years now. Like hookup culture, right? Nobody was putting in effort for relationships. So it's like, what do we really want? What do we need? Plus the lack of like, I don't know, just family or values or seeing what happiness looks like in the first place. So you don't actually have anything to strive towards. So there's no real reason to put in effort to a relationship, because like, what's the point? Mm-hmm. So it's this whole just round and round and round that it's getting worse. And now social media stuff, and now you have like temptation or people that are getting caught cheating or people that call out, like I see women posting screenshots all the time of like guys are gonna be like, I'm not fucking messaging any woman or flirting with her, like no way, because she's gonna call me out online. So it's like we just keep getting further and further away from each other, and there's not a whole lot bringing us to, like, you're doing this, I do what I do, like we're trying to open everybody's eyes to bring things forward, right? But it's like you have a highly male audience, I have a highly female audience, right? They're not fucking talking to each other. Like we need men and women to talk to each other. Like that's why this is so good to have a collaboration. But like all guys are gonna bitch over here and women are gonna bitch over here, and it's like nothing's gonna get solved. So like this is why we have to have these conversations and find out we probably have a lot of the same frustrations with each other. Yeah. So if we just communicate, we can work on it.
Okay. So ultimately, to brainstorm everything we discussed is that the men need to stand true to what's right, like their intuition. If their intuition says, if their values, their norms say offer a woman to her car, offer to pay for the date, offer to pick her up, whatever it is, whatever your intuition is, then you should just do it for the guys. Like that's what I wholeheartedly say. Keep doing it, because if those are your values, that's what you're looking for, you're gonna find a woman like me who's gonna be like, oh my God, thank God he walked me to my car.
Right.
Like,
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't wait for her to bring this up. Do you be you so that you can attract the you that you want.
Right.
And
it's the only way it'll happen.
Yes. And I think for the women, I'm very different though. For the women, it's I wish that we could stop excluding the men and saying like, you know, the future is female. How about the future is human? I want there to be inclusion, because if you include the men and you just kind of, yes, you're wonderful, you're great, it works for me. From personal experience, it works for me. And the guy who doesn't want to lift the box for me, it's totally fine, because there are 5 men who do, 1 who doesn't. So the ratio is still like it's not even measurable, you know? So just let the guys do their thing. Just let them feel like men.
And if they had more,
I trust me, I've seen it happen. Like a guy who's been dicked. I don't know. And then all of a sudden you give him that, like, do it, dude.
Yes.
All you.
Yeah.
And there's this like thing that comes over them. All of a sudden their shoulders pop back. You know, there's this like confidence and swagger comes through. You're like, okay, all right, you know. So I want the women to give guys just let them be dudes. Like, they have so much more testosterone. Like, let them fly into their testosterone.
Well, that's been like, what's the word? Vilified. Like that testosterone, that masculinity, like that's turned into a negative thing a lot of times.
To play devil's advocate, the reason why it's been, you know, vilified is because of a lot of women have experienced abuse, right?
Sure.
Physical abuse, temper, really high testosterone people usually have the high temper, temper abuse, you know, alcohol abuse, like all of that you see in a lot of men. It's almost like, you know, like, I want the nerd, you know, I want the nerd who, like, so maybe that's where it's coming from for the women.
Oh, sure, absolutely, and it's safe that way. It's safe to go that way, but there's, and how do you find the balance, right? How do you find the balance between wanting to bring out that masculinity and give him that identity, or that he should have in himself, and making sure he's not some, like, you know, like fuel charged monster who's gonna punch a hole in the wall. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So that's a tough. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying this is like there's an easy solution here. And obviously there's guys who are like deeply damaged and things that these don't apply to any of them, right? But it's like, I think if guys feel, again, wanted and needed and loved and things like that, they're not gonna lash out like I'm talking about, like, well-adjusted, mentally sane men, right? And anytime I see something like this, people are gonna be like, well, there's psychos and there's sociopaths and there's abuse. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about like normal guys. Like, if they have the opportunity to be loving and
not to interrupt you, but a really good tip for men and women, especially for women, is how do you narrow down a somewhat decent guy? If a guy can make eye contact with you, he's there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's so important. Like, that is a very important body language, something to look into on a first date. If he can't make eye contact, get your pepper spray out. Be careful. I just dropped a huge tip right there. I'm telling you, make that eye contact. So it was so good to have you on. We definitely want you to come back, because the guys basically agreed with everything you said, and so did I. Except for which part was it that I disagree? I don't know. The needing part. Like, I disagree. We need, and that's part of what you're hearing from the women, that we and it's unfortunate. I don't want that to happen.
And I mean, I do want us to need each other. I'd love to feel that, like, need, not like a clinginess, obviously, but like a need, like needed. Everybody wants to feel needed, you know? Needed, wanted, valued. Like, I think we all want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, for both sides. And two people who feel that way about each other, like, that's what keeps people together, you know?
Yeah.
Before I read these comments and respond again, we should probably, because I can go on a rant with what I just read.
What did you read?
What you're talking about is traditional gender roles. That's not natural for a lot of people. Yes, it fucking is. Because traditional gender roles are based off of what we naturally gravitate towards as men and women. Men like to do certain things naturally by biology and animal instincts, and women do too. So we fall into natural roles with each other. That's how society.
But James,
Oh,
so Lynn Glover wrote that comment. She said, what are you talking
yeah.
about? What you're talking about is traditional roles. That's not natural for a lot of people. And hold on. Maybe for her, that's not what she's looking for. So if there is a guy who is looking for that and he goes on a date with Lynn Glover, he's going to be like, I really was attracted to her, aka want to have sex with her, but so here's the thing, guy. What are you doing being sad about being out with a woman who doesn't share the same values as you? Keep it moving. I promise you there's a guy who agrees with what she said.
Oh, there are, but I'm not.
Because
But to generalize like that, to generalize and say that something that's based off of biological fact
yeah,
is not truth for a lot of people is just incorrect.
yeah.
It's you know what I mean. Like, we could go on and on for like hours about this. I mean, they have studies with children where they put a kid in a room with toys that didn't know any better, and the boys went to the boy toys and the girls went to the girl toys. Like, certain things are naturally embedded within us, but people want to just neutralize everything and say that there's not real tendencies between men and women. That's bullshit. It's just there are different we are drawn to different things naturally through our interests that therefore like put us into different roles in relationships. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean it's positive or negative or better or worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we have to balance it out. There have to be a dance.
We're getting into gender neutrality and roles and all of that, and that is a whole different conversation. But as long as you are feeling like a male here, a male there, and dressed like a male, and both, and if you're a woman here, have a woman this, and dress like a woman, then the traditional roles apply to you.
Agreed.
Okay. So that is what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about very male, female, all three things apply to you. Yeah. All three things apply to him. That's what we're talking about here. So if you're talking about other things as far as like gender goes, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about men who are like, I want a fucking vagina,
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here. And then you're talking about a woman who's like, I need a man. Like, I want to feel protected. I want this. I want that. Blah, 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 right? That's what we're talking about, which is what, like lint flying in the air, which is what a lot of people are looking for. And that's when you hear people's like, they're upset because they're seeking this and they can't really find it. So, hopefully this brought some insight to you guys. All right. Thank you so much, James, and hope to have you back on, okay?
Just let me know anytime. I'm always around.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye.
Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. But just to really recap and thank James Michael Sama for coming on. It's like, I love that the guys agreed with everything that James said. I agree with everything James said, and I hope nobody was offended. I hope everybody understands that the Anna Report Live is specifically gravitated, like I said, for the male and the female, the male really seeking for that female. And I encourage the women to come on and share their highs and lows, so we get a better sense, because me and my stories are not enough. And this is the wine I'm having tonight that I had. Again, I'm already out. So if you want to order this bottle of Malbec from One Hope, I have posted the link on my Instagram, on my Facebook. And what's great about buying this bottle is that proceeds from from your purchase is going to go to Alzheimer's research, and which is why I drink One Hope, because every time I drink a bottle, a charity gets a portion of the proceeds. Okay, so click on the link. It's actually on sale. This bottle is on sale. Go get it. It's only $17. You can order. The link is there. The One Hope Malbec from Uco Valley. It's delicious. It's really good. I'm telling you, Mom doesn't even drink wine and she's all over it. All right. So have a good night. This was really fun. Mike says whiskey for me. Yes, I love whiskey too. Whiskey, wine, beer, tequila, as long as it's not vodka, I'm good. All right. Mwah. Have a good night, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.